Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Texas and definitions. And honestly, something that just got under my skin. There's no other way to put it. Something got under my skin. And we're going to talk about it. But before we do it, today's going to be a little bit different. Rather than giving you like a rough sketch of what occurred, we're going to talk about a definition I found. Okay, it's in the Texas codes or laws or whatever, and it's a definition for the word resident. And it says that the word resident means, quote, any person who lives in the state in any firm, corporation, or association which is physically located in the state, a person who is temporarily living in the state and retains a permanent home in another state, is nevertheless a resident of Texas. Okay. So, Texas has pretty loose definition for the word resident. Okay. So, keep that in mind. This is what happened. A group decided to break a rule in Houston. The city of Houston has decided that it should be against the law to help people, to feed people who don't have homes. It's against the law to do that. And this group, well, they did it anyway. And they got the ticket, they took it to court, and the first one up, well, they've won. This isn't national news. Because to be honest, this is like what, food not bombs? It's what they do. It's like their thing. The fact that they did it and did it successfully, not really a surprise. They're engaged in this in a whole lot of places. It's not national news. But then there was this statement. It's from the city there. The city of Houston intends to vigorously pursue violations of its ordinance related to feeding of the homeless. It is a health and safety issue for the protection of Houston's residents. There have been complaints and incidents regarding the congregation of the homeless around the library, even during off hours. Start there, I guess. Even during off hours. So, what that tells me is this has absolutely nothing to do with people trying to get to the library, or maybe even them just weirdly feeling uncomfortable or anything like that, because even during off hours, there were complaints, right? So, the only way that I can take that is that the real issue is they exist, that the homeless people exist and they're there. That's the problem, even during off hours. But let's go back. It is a health and safety issue for the protection of Houston's residents. You can't feed the residents of Houston to protect their health and safety? That doesn't make any sense at all. Because if you go back to that definition, maybe the city's using a different one, but the one that I found, I get part of it. I understand that they're not a firm, corporation, or association. I get that. Oh. Well, I guess the city doesn't see them as people. It's the only way I can take this. It's the only way I can take that statement. Maybe they meant something else, but that's the only way I can read it. That they're not people. That's why they're not a resident. Because they live there, right? I would suggest that most definitions of the word resident are basically, hey, a person who lives in a defined geographic area. They're a resident of that area. But that's not enough, I guess, because it's a health and safety issue. I'm going to assume that the city doesn't think that feeding people is dangerous to their health and safety. Right? So the only way to take it is that those people, I guess I shouldn't call them people, right? Those others, those subhumans that are by the library, that not just are they not people, they're also diseased criminals, right? It's the only way I can take it. Health and safety. That's wild. That is wild. People in Houston, you better pay attention to this. Because while sure, language tricks and all of that aside, what you have is a city that is vigorously going to enforce and pursue these regulations to protect the residents. It seems pretty clear from this that resident means the rich people that contribute to their campaigns. Only way I can take it. Because it clearly doesn't mean people who live in Houston. In this day and age, right now, you have people out there trying to do the right thing, trying to help, trying to alleviate suffering among people who are sleeping rough. In this heat. And the city's like, nah, you can't help them. Helping them, that might cause a health and safety issue. What if they don't get help? What happens to them? I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because they're not residents. They don't count. The people in Houston, y'all need to pay attention. Because when any government starts othering people to this degree, it doesn't stop. Once that outgroup gets created like this, it doesn't stop. If you don't have enough money, pretty soon you won't be a resident. And they will vigorously enforce regulations against you. Food Not Bombs doing what they did, it's not a surprise. They do it everywhere. They're a really active group. They don't get a lot of press. It's not a surprise, and I doubt they'll stop. But that statement, and sure, maybe it's different definitions. Maybe that's not what the city meant. All of that stuff. But I don't know any other way to take it. It should be very troubling to people who are in Houston. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.